Okay, I think we're live. And it actually worked. It's a miracle. Hopefully the sound should be better today. I figured out what the problem was. I'm actually a real beginner streaming, so I was running 3 microphones at the same time. That's why you kept hearing that echo. So today, if I did as I'm supposed to have done, then you should hear me loud and clear and there should be no problem. Let's see. Nice. So how's your week been? Christo, hey. Thank you. Nice. I'm happy to hear it's better. Yeah, it was just, yeah, I'm just getting over the technical hurdles, figuring out how all of this works. So today should be more fun. And yeah, hopefully we'll have a really nice meditation. Last week was, I don't know if you guys, but for me it was really nice. I'm starting to really enjoy coming out here and finishing my evenings in front of the camera and just sitting like this. It's nice to do a group meditation. There's just something different when you do it with other people. So I hope it's the same for you guys. Thank you. My thought is that we'll do, I'm going to start writing a schedule. So basically I start the stream at 8 o'clock and then we'll wait until 5 past or maybe 7 minutes past is maybe a good number. I don't know. A few minutes so people have time to join. And then we'll have 20 minutes meditation and then 10-15 minutes of questions and answer. And I'll just write that so that people who watch the stream afterwards will know that it's going to be first 5 minutes just chatting. If people have any questions about what we're going to do or anything, they can ask that, and then afterwards we'll do more questions that we can go a bit more in depth if people have some questions. And it's also very nice if you have things that come up during the week of how can I use the meditation for this, or obstacles that come up. Then you're very welcome to ask those questions, and we can try to work out if there's a way to use your practice to work through those problems. Did anyone see the last video, by the way? The one I posted about why we meditate? Maybe no one did. It's a nice video. I talk about why you meditate, because a lot of people meditate to oh, nice you saw, Christo. Many people meditate to kind of get stuff, and I've always had a thought about, yeah, nice, about how it's so strange that we do this thing where we're supposed to get rid of this sense of self is basically what we're doing, trying to get rid of all the, we're not trying to get rid of the actual problems outside, we're trying to get rid of the feeling that they are problems, which might not make sense at first, because we are so born and raised to the idea that you fix the problems outside and then you feel better. Oh, I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, it can really help with stuff like that to calm you down. So then, like in the law of attraction, and people who, almost everyone who does spiritual videos, they talk about how you can create your perfect life. And then you have the people from the Eastern traditions. If you think about it, they basically want to become superheroes. They do this to get special powers and to become better than they were before somehow. And the idea that you would just be you and just actually that this world is enough isn't really something they talk about a lot. It is, especially Buddhism talks a lot about how it's, this world is defiled and it's bad, and if you kind of go beyond it, it's not good. Whereas I really disagree, because if you meditate and learn how to take away this distortion that you have towards the world around you, then it will be you'll experience the world in a different way. And if you have children, you can really see how they do that so much better than we do. They're really much more adept at just seeing the world as it is without any interpretations. I told a fun story. My son is 18 months old, and my daughter is 5. And we were standing in the bathroom, and he was like, "Papa, Papa, Papa." And he was standing with the cracker looking in the toilet while my daughter was pooping. "Papa, look, Papa, look, look." He's like, "This is so exciting. She's pooping. What? Something coming out." And he just stood there eating his cracker, which for us is like, we would never do that. That's so crazy. But for him, it's kind of like, well, that's like, what's happened? This is really interesting. And it didn't have that distortion towards it. It didn't have the idea that that's bad or that it smells bad or you're not supposed to do that. For him, it's just, he's just seeing something, and it was really interesting. And like, it's so funny because when we grow up, we start having all these ideas about what's okay and what's not okay. And I just thought that was I really laughed when I saw that. Good. So it's 5 minutes past, and I'll do the same as normally. I'll this time, today, Mondays, we have the guided meditations. So I'll start with 3 rings of the bell, and then we'll do the counting meditation that we did last time. So basically, we do counting from 1 to 8, and then down from 8 to 1. And it's just, if you're a beginner, this is just so easy to do, and it's really, really one of the best ways to start practicing, I think, if you want to gain strong concentration. Even if you meditate before a lot, this can really help with that. So we'll do that, and then afterwards you're free to ask questions. So just sit in a comfortable position, and close your eyes if you're comfortable doing that. Otherwise you can keep them open as well. So for this meditation, I want you to just slow down. We're going to be sitting here for 20 minutes, and there is nothing you did before or nothing you will do after that you really can do anything about during these next 20 minutes. The only thing you need to do is just sit still for the next 20 minutes and do this exercise. So I want you to bring your awareness to your chest. And I want you to widen your awareness. It's like the palm of your hand, or a little bit bigger. And then feel how breath is coming in and breath is going out of your body. How breath is coming in and breath is going out. And just feel how the breath is coming in and out. You might feel it at the tip of your nose and the whole face area, the nasal cavity, maybe your throat or your chest. Just observe as breath is coming in and breath is going out. And I want you to widen your awareness. Try to make it a little bit wider. If you're observing breath on the area of your face, try to include the throat, or maybe a little bit further down. Just make it as wide as possible. And just feel your breath going in and your breath going out. Now, to make it easier to follow our breath, we will be counting our breaths from 1 to 8 and then down from 8 to 1. And we do this in a very specific way. We count it at the end of the out-breath. And there's a very good reason why we do that, because that's usually where we have a small pause in the breathing. And if you would meditate more and look at this, you'd see that that's usually where you drift off into your thoughts. So we'll be counting together, and you can just follow me along as we go. In breath and out breath. 1. In breath and out breath. 2. There's no need to make the sounds when you're breathing like I do. In breath and out breath. 3. In breath and out breath. 4. In breath and out breath. 5. In breath and out breath. 6. In breath and out breath. 7. In breath and out breath. 8. In breath and out breath. 7. In breath and out breath. 6. In breath and out breath. 5. In breath and out breath. 4. In breath and out breath. 3. In breath and out breath. 2. In breath and out breath. 1. Now just keep counting up from 1 to 8, and then down from 8 to 1. Keep your awareness wide and try to be aware of breath happening rather than the physical sensations of breath. When thoughts come in, just let them go and go back to your breath. There will always be thoughts coming up. The only thing you need to do is just come back. Come back to your breath and start again. If you feel some kind of itching or some kind of physical sensation that's distracting you, as long as it's not hurting you, see if you can just let that pain be and keep your awareness on the breath, counting in and out. 1. In and out. There is nothing you need to feel. There is nothing you need to do. The only thing you should do during these next 20 minutes is coming back to your breath whenever your thoughts drift away. Whenever you get distracted, just come back. And if you can't remember where you were, just start over. I won't be handing out golden stars after for the one who did the most, 1 to 8 or 8 to 1. The only thing you need to do is just come back to your breath over and over and over as you breathe in, breathe out. 1, in and out. If you find that your thoughts are pulling you away from your practice of just following the breath, realize that every single person sitting here with us today is having the same issue. The only difference between an experienced meditator and someone who's just starting out is that the person who's meditated for a long time knows that the only thing they need to do is just come back. And the more times you can start over without feeling bad, without judging yourself, and just come back. Come back to the breath over and over and over again. The easier it will be to stay with the breath. The slower your breath will become and more shallow and calmer. No reason to control it, just let it change to whatever it wants to. Just count your breath as you're breathing in, breathing out. 1, in, out. 2, as you become calmer and it becomes easier to follow your breath. See if you can widen your awareness. See if you can widen your awareness. You're aware of most of your body. Maybe your chest, maybe your upper torso, maybe your head, maybe even your legs and feet. See if you can keep all of it in your awareness as you're observing your breath going in, going out. One, in and out. If you find yourself distracted by your environment, maybe there's a car honking their horns, maybe a child playing, maybe some birds singing some beautiful song. Just let those things be and include them in your awareness as you're aware of what it feels like when your breath is going in and your breath is going out. One, breath is going in, breath is going out. you want, you can continue sitting, or you can just gently open your eyes. Maybe have a cup of tea. And if anyone has any questions, you're welcome to ask. Nice. No questions, you guys got this. How did the meditation feel for you? Did it feel okay? Is it too long or too short, or is the length comfortable for most people? I can see that some people actually drop off in the middle. Maybe it's a little bit too long to sit that much, but I think 20 minutes is a good time to sit, to not make it too short and not too long that it gets too difficult. I'm not sure if I should say happy to hear that or sorry to hear that, Christo. Are you able to do it yourself also when you sit, or is it easier when you sit together with other people like this? Okay, I'll answer. Good, Christo. And there's a 10-second delay, so whenever you write, it takes a time for me to read it. I'm reading Aslan San. I hope I pronounced that okay. He says that he's new to meditation, and he always has a problem with his posture. My back hurts afterwards. Do I let it be, or am I doing something wrong? So this very, very common problem. I actually have a video that I did when I started out on YouTube. It's probably like a year old. I think it's called Don't Use Back Support When You're Meditating. So basically there are a few things that can make it easier and that can make it worse also. When you sit, do you sit, how do you sit? Do you sit on the floor? Do you sit in a sofa, on a chair? Do you stand up, or do you sit in there's like these meditation chairs that are really good if you have problems with your posture. Basically it's like how should I describe this? A plank like this with two legs, and you put your legs in between the two legs like this. So you sit on top like that, and you're sitting on top of it with your legs unfolded underneath you. You can build one yourself, or they're not that expensive to buy. But like I said, I'd like to hear how you sit currently, Aslan, so we make it easier to explain. Either way, whatever you sit, I'd recommend not sit in a sofa, definitely not in a bed. You want to have a firm, something firm underneath you. You can't see it here, but I have a thin cushion that's like this thick. That's actually a meditation cushion that I got from Plum Village in France. So it's a like a soft, foamy mattress kind of. But it shouldn't be too thick, because if it gets too thick, it does like this to your posture. The second thing to think about is that it should be flat, it should be kind of firm. And then if you think of your pelvis, like the way it looks from behind. I'll see if I can turn around. Let's see. I try to sit with a pillow in the floor when my leg hurts. I'm sitting in an office chair. Yeah, if the main thing is you shouldn't hurt your back. That's not a good thing to do. But I'm gonna show like basically what you do is when you sit, the way that it works, whoops, is that your pelvis bone. If you look at my back, I'll try to do this. See, now I'm sitting like this, right? My back is curved like this. Am I at the right angle? Yeah. So it's curved like this, and the posture is really bad. I have behind me, I have these. So this is basically, this is my monk robes actually. I just fold them like this, like a pillow, and I put it underneath my bum. Like that, just a little bit like that. And now I don't need to strain or anything, and if you see my back, I just twist the pelvis bone like that. Very easy to sit straight. So now it helps with the posture. You can have a pillow here. Some people like to actually sit on top of a big pillow like that, and they make a triangle with the legs down like that. I never found that comfortable. My knees just don't like it. Some people love sitting like that, and there's a lot of tradition when that's the only thing you do. So try putting something behind you. You can roll like a towel or whatever you want to use. You can just put it like that. You can use a pillow. Another way that you can do if you have problems with your back that is really good is called the diamond position. It's actually the same as when I talked about that special stool you have with the legs. You take a pillow like this. Actually, maybe you take a few pillows, some big pillows, and you put it between your legs. I'll show. You basically put it like this. This also gives you a really straight, good posture. And you'll just sit like this. Now you also get a good back. Your legs are down, and this can help for people who have a back pain also. If I sit without anything behind my back, I can barely sit. I find it so irritating and so difficult. It just, I always have something like this. And there's another thing that happens as well. When you meditate, there's a feeling of, should I call it energy going up the spine? I don't want to say energy, but it's like you feel kind of like your back just does like that. And it just comes by itself after a while when you sit. You just straighten up your back. So when you sit more and more, I don't have to strain myself much. As long as I have this little thing here behind my bum, I just relax, and it's like my spine is just holding me up like this. My arms are completely relaxed. Your arms should not be tight. If you're sitting like this, you're doing something wrong. You should be here, should be completely relaxed, this part. This should be your core, should be what's lifting you up. I'm a genius. Well, I don't know about that, but I have said a lot, so I picked up some things, and just from plain trial and error, I just figured out a lot of stuff that works. And for some reason, people never talk about this. Did that make it easier, Aslan? Yeah? I hope that, try that. Like, you can try sitting like that, and some traditions you sit with a lot of pain, and that's kind of part of the practice. I have mixed feelings about it. I've sat with insane amounts of pain for thousands of hours, and it can be helpful, but there can also be some negative side effects from it. So I would, if you do that, I'd rather go to retreat before you really start pushing yourself. Little pain, no problem. The thing that they usually said to us when we were at the retreats, and that we used to say to people who went there, was that as long as the pain disappears after you stop sitting, then it's fine. If you keep going around the whole day with pain, then you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing, because then you're actually damaging and hurting yourself. So you should definitely be careful. But like, if you sit for an hour or an hour and a half, there's going to be pain. That's just the way it is. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so SKH is saying that when I stop meditation for some time and I start again, I experience a buttload of pain all over my body. What kind of pain is that? Is that everywhere, or is that in specific areas of your body, or how do you experience the pain? pain is very common, by the way, when you're sitting. It's not like if you stop your meditation just because you have pain, then it's going to be difficult to sit. All over. So, and when you've been meditating for a while, it goes away. It's just like when you've been stopping and then starting again. Because, let's see if I can get an answer there. I have a train of thought here that I want to follow. Yeah. So then there's a lot of traditions that teach about meditation and maps and stuff, and I used to practice with the Theravadins, and they do a lot of things good, and they also do a lot of things not so well. One of the things they're really good at is describing maps of what you go through when you start meditating, and doing it in such a way that is not so interpreted, but rather like how you experience the sitting. And they have a step, it's called jnanas, basically. So when you start sitting, this is insanely simplified. Like there's so much more to this. So I'll just make it very simple to try to explain what happens. When you start sitting and you've never sat before, you're going to sit and it feels like this. You're just sitting and like, I'm just sitting here and nothing is happening, right? And then you start sitting and all of a sudden, my meditation is going up. I feel a little bit better. And then it kind of goes down and up a little bit. And then during the third part of this, there can be a lot of physical sensations. There can be a lot of twisting. Your body wants to turn to the side. You can have your head wanting to turn. There can be jaw pains, like in chakra points many times. And I think this is third or the fourth jnana, something like that. There can be a lot of physical pain. And after that, it feels like your meditation shoots through the roof, and you probably think you're enlightened or have some magical experience, or think that you got mushrooms in your food by your partner without them telling you. And then after that, you kind of crash, and everything is just crap, and you enter the dark night of the soul, as it's called in the like western part of the world, and everything is just shit. Sorry, I'm not sure if I can say that on YouTube or not, but everything is really, really bad. And then you come to the next stage where it's kind of like this stuff doesn't even make any sense. You're just walking around and the world is just okay as it is. There's wars, there's peace, there's famine, there's people who die and people who get born. It's like everything is okay. And then you finish the cycle and certain things happen and then you start over again. But in this beginning here, there is a part where that is usually related to physical pain. It can make your body twist. Have you noticed that if the body is twisting? That's a common thing that happens in this area also. So it kind of makes sense. Like I don't really have it all over my body. I had certain parts where like extreme headaches, like migraine that just made the head feel like it should explode. In the best way if it's too difficult. And this is like a tip not just for now, but if you feel like you're overwhelmed by your meditation, there's too much thought and you like my mind is just spiraling, what you should do is like first of all stop meditating. Secondly, eat really fatty foods like hamburgers, French fries, and just do something completely different. Take a cold shower, take a warm shower, like do whatever, go out and just go party, whatever. Just stop like thinking so much. Stop being, well, you're not supposed to think really too much when you're in meditating, but just stop being so much in your mind. Say with it. It's so, there's some kind of symbol here in between. I just see. Can I see this? It's like I feel nothing and everything. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can experience when you're meditating, and one of the main the best approaches is to just don't take things too seriously. Don't try to interpret too much. These maps can be good, and the reason, oh now I can see it. It's so shit. Okay, good. Kundalini. Okay, I'm going through. Oh yeah, that's fine. He's writing, I'm not able to experience love. Love is just a sensation, right, that you feel in a specific way. And you have, so this is a really good example of what can happen when you meditate that might feel negative. It doesn't really happen if you just do a little bit of meditation, but when you start meditating a lot, like I'm assuming you probably been to some kind of retreat sometime, or maybe do a lot of meditation, I'm not sure. Maybe you've had some kind of mushroom experience or something. But the thing that happens many times is that people in the West aren't used to, and it kind of ties back to the video I made about why we meditate. We meditate because in the West, many times we meditate, I want to produce more, I want to create more, I want to be more powerful, I want to be in the flow state, I want to like manifest more and make a better life. Whereas these practices were actually made to dissolve the sense of self. And we talk about, yeah, that sounds nice. Like, oh, this self, yeah, I think I'm going to resolve that. That's like, I don't really want to have that. I don't need myself. But then when you start diluting this, like, this is me, I'm here, I need to defend this, and that starts opening up, there can be certain parts where you don't feel the same way. Like if you listen to my video about deep dive into meditation with a former Buddhist monk, I really recommend you to watch that one, SKH. I talk about this where I went like hit this hard. I just lost all sensations and I was numb. I couldn't feel anything for 3 days and I was just completely down and just couldn't take it. Committing suicide wasn't even worth committing suicide because it would just continue in the next lifetime. It felt like it was just so bad. So I talk about a lot about, like, of course you shouldn't do that, but I'm just saying it feels so terrible, like when you're in these states, because you don't feel like yourself, and that can kind of get stuck. There's actually two parts. I'm talking about two different things. You have the part where you change how you experience the world. That can be very scary. That's one thing. And then you have the other thing, which is when you feel numb. When I hear you saying what you say, now I haven't spoken to you personally, like voice is different, you can get more information, but what can happen many times is that you can get into like numbness. That's not where I'm talking about how things experience differently, but then you just feel numb. You can't feel anything and you're just kind of stuck. These things do pass. Yeah. So these things do pass, especially the numbness part. I mean, the best approach, like I said, is just don't interpret too much. Don't think you did anything wrong. Like a very common thing is that you sit like, oh, I took a sidestep wrong somewhere with my meditation and I messed up my mind. Now my mind is ruined and it's never going to work. That's not how it is. You need guidance. Like I really recommend you if you're SKH, if you're near a meditation center or somewhere where you can actually go and sit with other people and you have a teacher you can ask for help. You're of course welcome to ask me for help also. But it's not going to be like that. It's not like you've lost your ability to love. It can disappear for a while, yes. Oh my goodness, if you knew the kind of stuff I went through when I said there is no way I could have lived a normal life while I was... Seems like it's loading. Oh, I'll just continue talking and hopefully it'll continue. That's strange. Oh yeah, I think we're back. Maybe. So, yeah, SKH, just breathe in, breathe out, be calm. Ask for help if you have anyone around. If you really feel like it's getting too much, then obviously go to seek help. Don't try to solve it all yourself. Okay, good. I'm back. I'm back again. Thank you. I don't know what happened. Yeah, some streaming problem. So really, don't think you're gonna fix this by yourself. If it's overwhelming, don't try to sit by yourself and just sit still and kind of think you're gonna work through it. And especially don't stop taking medicines if you're taking antidepressants and stuff like that. Ask for help. There's nothing wrong with it. Like there's so much bad will towards psychiatrists and counselors and stuff in the spiritual world, but you need them sometimes. You really do. You need people who have experience with this kind of stuff. You don't need someone who meant, like I watched a video the other day of some guy who was teaching meditation and he was talking about so wisely, like it's like this and you're going to experience this. And then I looked on his channel and it like two months ago he'd experienced what he called a Kundalini awakening and went to some course with some dude and now he's like a meditation teacher. It's kind of, I don't know if I should cry or laugh because it really makes me feel like, oh my God, it's like you gave a teenager a knife and it's a really sharp knife, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm a surgeon now. I'm going to operate." Because I read a book on how to do like heart surgery. I can probably figure that out. It's like there's so much to this, and it really helps if you've done a bit more than maybe 2 months before you go out and tell people. He probably heard other people say that, and then he's repeating it. So let's see. Oh yeah. Again, no, there's no problem. Like, there's so much stuff that come up SKH, and I'll talk more about this later, and I have videos I want to produce on this. But really, just whatever you think is going on, like all these ideas, you see things and you feel things, I just ignore them. There's no reason. The map of meditation is called jnanas. The jnanas that there's you can find if you Google it, you should find stuff on it. It's like Theravada Buddhism. There's a really good book by a guy called, I can't come up with it. It's an American guy. He's a doctor, and he's really, really technically advanced in meditation, and wrote a book about it. Mastering the Core Teachings of the Buddha, I think it's called. Daniel something. Ingram? Maybe? Look it up. But it's a thick book, like it's a textbook. Jnanas. Yeah, look him up, and he has a book on it that is really detailed, and maybe there's some YouTube videos on it. They're not really important. Again, don't get caught up in trying to explain. It doesn't matter where you're on at the map. That's not the point. The reason you would want to know is because there are certain hindrances that come up at certain parts of this. And if you think you see things, I've seen so many things, I've experienced so many things, and it's just like whatever I felt like I had like globbing things in my pain. I could hear things that weren't there, and I never paid any attention. I just like, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to become clairvoyant. I'm trying to get rid of this thing called suffering, this distortion I'm feeling. That's what I'm trying to do. And you'll get distracted by all these ideas of manifestation and worshipping, and it's like, just, that's something else. If you want to do that, that's fine. That's not at all what I do here, but you're very welcome to do that. That's something else. Okay, I'll continue, sorry. Christo, I wanted to answer also. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that, Christo. Yeah, it's very good. So, and I'm sorry to hear that you've had that incident you had before. Yeah. I don't really know what to say there, and I really agree. If you've had those kind of complications, you should go somewhere where people know, because I've had people come to me with thoughts like suicidal thoughts, or with who've gone through. People have seen people being killed, or have had even themselves kill people. People went through just really, really heavy things, panic attacks. I think I had, while I was a monastic, at least like 5 or 6 people randomly came up to me on the streets and had panic attacks on the plane one time. I was insane. I think it was the robes. It's not that I attracted them like magically or anything. I think people just saw me and then felt comfort and come to me. And the thing I always did when someone came with something was that I never really focused on what they were saying. I always focused on how I was reacting to what they were saying. In other words, I made sure that I felt calm with whatever they were saying, even though I heard some really, really bad stories that I neither would want to or could repeat here. Is like, yeah, there's so much stuff that people have gone through, and the only thing you do is just sit and be calm with that. And someone who's new into this kind of stuff, and they help someone, and then they have one of these episodes, and they're like, oh, what should I do? Like, oh my goodness, like and if they've never gone through it themselves, like if they don't know how bad you can feel and they think you meditate just to feel good, well, that can cause a problem. So I'm very happy that you're at a place where they actually have some kind of qualification for someone to teach, because not everyone does. You're welcome, SKH. I hope that helped. I can really go off on tangents and find so many subjects around the same topic. See, there's one more question we're going to do before we finish. Really happy to hear that, yeah. And that's the thing, Christy was saying that life was difficult before, and it probably still is, but it's much easier. And the thing is, everything changes. It's just in that moment when things are really bad. I think for someone who's never felt, I've been burned out, like not just like burned out, things been tough. No, I've been really burned out where I couldn't drive a car because if it rained, I was completely overwhelmed. The lights of other cars, and I couldn't have a conversation when there was radio on in the background, or I couldn't feel any kind of connection with my family. And if you've never felt bad yourself, I also have a mother who has schizophrenia, so I have a lot of experience with mental illness. and people around me, of course, when I was monastic. If you've never seen it, you think that you can just tell them, oh, it's okay, just focus on the roses and the flowers and realize that it will get better tomorrow. But when you're feeling bad, the problem is you cannot feel good. It's not about just changing your perspective. When you're stuck in that state, it's like you can't get out of it. And you just have to stick it through and go through it. And there are certain things you can do to make that easier. And asking for help is definitely one of the things you should do. But it is difficult for someone who's never felt bad to actually understand what it's like to feel bad. I mean, mentally ill bad, because it's not just I'm in a bad mood. And today people use the term like I'm burnt out, just like, oh, I feel so burnt out, I'm a bit overwhelmed. That's not really burnt out. People are really, I had a friend who got burned out, and it took her a whole day to empty the dishwasher. She literally was standing and just walking around the dishwasher and didn't do anything else but try to empty the dishwasher. And in the end, she failed. A whole day she was home with no one else. And it was just too overwhelming to take out the cutlery and take out the potty. She couldn't do it. And that's difficult for someone to understand who's never felt like that. So it's really important to have respect and understanding and patience. And these monks here at that center you go to, Christus, sound like they have that. Well, you can come here to the meditations SKH. I also have private coaching if you want to do that. You can see my details in the, I think I have it on the each video. There's a contact. You can mail me and we can see, maybe we can set something up. There was one more I wanted to take before we finish. Mats asked, oh yeah, so this is also a good question. Good. So Mats is asking, saying that, how do I make my meditation stick, my meditation habit stick? That's a really long topic. I'm actually not going to go in there completely, because I think I'm not sure if I made a video about that. I wrote a post about that. I will definitely make a video about it in the future. Making a habit stick, there's so many theories and ideas behind it, but I think one of the main things is that there's a point where you pass where it doesn't feel like work anymore, like you have to do it. So for instance, you probably don't think about brushing your teeth. You just brush your teeth. You do that every day. For me, it's the same with meditation. It's like difficult not to do it, and I don't mean that I feel really bad. It's a habit. I just keep on doing it. The main thing to get started, I think, are a few things. The first thing is, okay, actually, I'll just go into it very quickly. The first thing is you need to have some kind of technique that works for you, and that can change. Just because it works now doesn't mean it's going to work a month from now. But having a simple and down-to-earth technique that you can start with, that's the first thing that you need. Second thing is having an idea that your meditation doesn't go like this, because what happens many times is people start meditating and there's two things that make them stop. One is they forget about it because they get distracted, they get a cold, they get sick, or they go to a party and then something happens like that. Or they believe their practice is going to go like this, and actually what happens is it goes like this, and then it goes down, and maybe goes below where you started. And that's not what you wanted. So having an understanding of these, like I call the maps, the jnanas, that's actually part of the thing that can be very useful for not getting discouraged. So either you just forget about it and drop out after a while, or your progress is not what you expected it to be. After you have those two things, a practice that you can easily do and you don't have to think about it. It should not be anything complicated. It should really be something simple. I personally am completely, I don't believe in like these really complicated traditions where you need inaugurations and passage of lineage. I mean, I can see how for some people that gives them confidence, because then someone has said, now you know how to do it. And now I've given this to you, and now you can do it. You can't do it without me. And maybe you also have to pay money, because then you have something invested in it, which could actually be a good thing. But I don't believe in that. I don't think you need it. I think it can help, but you don't need it. And then, technique, knowing what you should expect. And then it is just a matter of setting a time and keeping it regular. Like, in other words, doing it every time, the same time of the day. Like you said here, these guided group meditations help, and I'm happy they do, because that's my thought behind this, having a regular thing, so people can keep having your practice, and then you have this to kind of keep it up and maybe ask questions if something goes wrong, or like just guidance in general. And there's actually quite a few things more you can do, but if I would say a few things that would be the best, it would be find a practice that suits you and that's easy to do, not too complicated. You definitely don't need to always complicate things. And secondly, know what to expect. It's not going to be like this, it will be like that. And then also, whenever you have something that happens that sidetracks, you just come back. You miss one evening, that's fine. But don't miss a week because of that. You can do it the day after. And then I had one more. My memory's so bad. Yeah. Oh yes, a regular practice routine. A day when you keep your practice. A time during the day where you keep your practice, and it doesn't matter if it's morning, evening. Just make sure it's a time of the day when you're able to come loose to practice. Okay, that was a bit longer than I expected, but it was fun, and I really enjoy these questions. I hope LGBT life gets better together. Nice, I like that. Yeah, you're welcome, Mats. I will think about. I actually I can't remember where I did this. I think either I wrote it in a message to someone I asked, but I had a few things that I just came up with that would be very useful for creating a habit, because it is one of the most common things that people have problems with to begin with, of course. Thank you, Christo. Happy. Yeah, I'll keep doing these meditations. I enjoy them, and if other people enjoy them also, that's like a double benefit. So I'll see you guys on Thursday. Thursday, there won't be any guiding. We'll just sit together, which is also very nice. It's, in a way, calmer for me, but I also enjoy guiding. It's nice. I enjoy both. So I'll see you on Thursday. Thank you.